Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to give you project ideas for the pen feature on your Cricut machine. You can use the pen feature with any of the machines, which is exciting, but I do think it's the most neglected feature, so I wanted to give you some fun ideas. I would love to hear how often you use the pen feature. Most of these clips are past videos that I've done. I can link them in the description box if you want to see a more detailed tutorial on how to make these. But anyways, let's just get into the video. My first project idea is writing on cards. I feel like this is a very common one. You can write on the front of the card or on the inside. Here's a Mother's Day card I created on my own in Cricut Design Space. I didn't use a writing font, so you can see me coloring it in, but there are lots of writing fonts you can use in Cricut Design Space. Here's a gender reveal card that I've made. I used the blue and pink Cricut glitter gel pens to reveal the gender. Cricut has tons of pen options with different colors. They're really fun. I'll link them down in my description box. Here's a Cricut Joy project. Cricut has a lot of beginner-friendly cards with their card insert projects, so you can find tons of options on there for those, and there's lots of fun ones where you can incorporate the pen feature as well. You can also buy card mats for the Explore or Maker machines now, which is really nice. So here I'm making cards with those. You can also see I'm using a pen adapter for this. Amazon sells pen adapters where you can use other pens that are not Cricut pens. It's really neat to give you other options. The only thing with this is if you put anything non-Cricut related in your machine, then it does void your warranty. I believe the warranty is good for a year, so just keep that in mind. So like I said, you can find these insert card templates in Cricut Design Space. You can also find just regular card templates, or you can go online. I like to find some on Creative Fabrica, or you can even create some from scratch on your own. My next idea is kind of a fun one. You can write up notes for anyone, for your kids, for a spouse, a friend. Here I wrote a letter to my kids on their first day of school. The notebook paper ended up being print and cut, and then I had the Cricut draw on it. I also did something similar for Christmas. When my kids' Elf on the Shelf came, I had Santa send a note and use the Cricut pens to write it. My next idea is to have the Cricut write out addresses on envelopes for mail that you're sending out. You can do this on Christmas cards, wedding invitations, save the dates, thank you cards, all kinds of things. It does take a while, especially if you have a lot to send out, like if you're doing wedding invitations, but you can make it look really cool by choosing different fonts, and it'll look like your handwriting is super great. Another Cricut pen feature idea is to draw on gift tags. This is a really fun one. You can do this for any occasion. For this one, I wrote to and from on the back of this gift tag. Here's other Christmas gift tags that I made and used the pen feature to write to and from, but you can also do all kinds of things with the writing feature. You can draw out designs with it. You can get super creative. Another way you can use the pen feature is with labels. You obviously can use vinyl for this as well, and it's one of the reasons why I got my Cricut machine to begin with, because I love organizing, but it's fun to use the pens for these. Here I use my pens to write on cardstock, and I added it to these little label holders, and then I put these on baskets. And what's nice about this is you can switch this out if you decide to change what your basket is for. I also created labels for my Christmas bins in 2022. It's pretty similar to the basket ones because you can switch them out if you want to, but it's super cool. It's these little label things that you can stick onto the bin, and then you can replace these if it changes as well, which is kind of nice compared to adding vinyl to it and having to scrape off the vinyl. Also, I was watching this and I put almost every single label on crooked. I feel like that takes a special kind of talent to have it all crooked. This next project is one that I just don't see that many people use or talk about, but it's super cool. It's watercolor markers, and they work with the Cricut machine to draw out designs, and then you can use the water to fill it in. It's super cool. I made these adorable cards with these, and honestly, I haven't used them since then, so I kind of want to get these back out and create with them. What's really neat too is you can combine the watercolor markers with the Cricut regular pen, and it gives it a really cool look. Next, I want to share infusible ink pens and markers. You can get so creative with these. You can draw yourself, or you can use templates from online or Cricut Design Space. You can use these on really any sublimation blanks also, so it's really fun. You can see here I'm using these on one of the Cricut mugs, and I'm using the Cricut mug press. I will say that I definitely recommend the Cricut pens over the markers. I'll show you a couple other examples of when I use the markers. I had those to begin with, and that's what I used, but they're just a little bit harder to work with because they're a lot thicker than the pens. Here's the Cricut infusible ink markers, and these are going to be a little bit like fatter than the pens. They're not as thin. I found this design in Cricut Design Space, and I did have to color some of it in, but Cricut Design Space does have all writing designs that you can choose from as well. The markers do have a cool look sometimes, and I did really like how these turned out, but if you have a design that's like really fine, then you're going to want to use the infusible ink pens. Here's one last infusible ink marker project. I used these to make t-shirts, and what I did was draw an outline and then I colored in the rest with the infusible ink markers. This was a shirt I made for my daughter. One thing with coloring these in a lot is you can see kind of the shaded areas, so it doesn't turn out like perfect, but for a kid shirt, it was actually pretty cool. Sometimes you might not want to be coloring it in. For some people, it's a nice creative outlet, but you can once again choose different designs that you don't have to color in as much. Here's another very fun and popular Cricut template in Design Space. You add crayons in here. I actually used my own designs, which is fun, but Cricut has templates where you can choose from too, and these are fun for any holiday. Here's my son coloring it. He's 9, almost 10 now, so this was several years ago, and I can't even remember how old he was. He looks so young. Here's another coloring example. You can create coloring sheets with the markers. I actually am using the Cricut Venture here, so it's huge. I just made this over Thanksgiving to use as like a placemat for the kids to color before eating or while eating. I wish I had a video of my son coloring it because he did color it, and it would have been fun to compare to the last video of him. You can use your regular machines for this as well and not make it as big. My next idea is drawing on gift bags. I just recently did this for Christmas. This is a 3-pack from the Dollar Tree, so it's very inexpensive. One thing I messed up with the tape is it did take off part of the paper, but this is really fun. You can add whatever design you want to if you are giving a gift bag for any type of present. I have 2 last random projects to share just because I wanted to show how you can incorporate the pen into other projects. For this one, I was making decor for my daughter's first birthday, and I was making these little picks to put in flowers. I combined this with cardstock and the foil tool, and it just turned out really cute. For this last one, I made a little chick out of cardstock and used the pen to draw the eyes and the mouth. You can search for a lot of these projects on Cricut Design Space, and like I mentioned earlier, Creative Fabrica has tons of cool templates and designs as well. I'm just constructing this little duck, and it is just super cute. But that is it for this video. I hope this gave you some creative ideas for using the pen feature with the Cricut. Do you have any ideas that you've used with it that I didn't mention? I always love to hear fun ideas in the comment box. I would also love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. It's completely free, and I have so many fun Cricut videos coming up for 2024.